honored to welcome Blair Treuer to the Love Your Mission Inspiring Women series. Blair is a textile artist who sees herself as an innovator, reimagining what it means to work with fabric. She seeks to inspire a new wave of exploratory work in this field and be one of the catalysts pushing this medium forward into gallery spaces and in arts education. Being self-taught, her approach to textile portraiture is unique. The images are often confused with paintings until experienced in person. She's not afraid to explore new approaches to fabric, nor is she afraid to engage in challenging topics with her work. Her portraits explore intimate parts of her life and center on the juxtaposition between her white culture and her husband's traditional indigenous culture, and have ranged in topics from drug abuse, body image, femininity and masculinity, sexual abuse and exploitation, aging, transitioning from childhood to manhood and womanhood, with spirituality deeply woven into their narratives. Her work is vulnerable, honest, and personal, but often makes universal connections. Even when her work is dark, it's filled with hope. Welcome, Blair. Blair, it is so good to see you today. It's been a while because we used to see each other once a year at our wonderful VivFest gathering that we would do with friends. And so it's been so weird not to see you, but I'm glad that you're here and joining me on this inspiring women's journey with me. So welcome.
I'm so excited to be here. And yes, we've really missed you guys. We've really missed you guys.
I know, it's like, oh, maybe next year, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, so for those of you who don't, we usually gather in some part of the United States, about 30, sometimes 40 people. Sometimes in one house we'll get together, and it's so fun to see everyone and just see, especially the kids when they grow, and seeing the changes and everything, and just to be able to catch up. So it's been really fun to do that and be part of that family for it. So thank you for being here. So what I wanted to just kind of see with you is let me know what has been your journey as you, like, for example, when you went to school and everything, did you know at that point what you wanted to do?
I had ideas of things that I was into, but I didn't necessarily have a set goal. So my undergrad work was in history and philosophy and psychology. And I thought that I was going to get into international relations of some kind. Like that was where my passion was at the time. And you know, my path in life has done this a lot. So after I graduated college, I thought I wanted to work in special education instead. I wanted to work with troubled youth. So the EBD program for teenagers, emotional behavioral disorder, stuff like that. And then I married a man who had 7 children. And I decided that I wasn't sure that I had the capacity to do that kind of work and then come home to a house full of kids and still give them everything I wanted to. So we decided together that I would stay home with our kids. We had 2 more kids, so I stayed home with all the toddlers for a long time, for almost a decade. I was a stay-at-home mom, and then I had another wild adventure where I opened an aerial art studio in northern Minnesota. So I taught like circus classes to adults and kids, like the aerial hoops that hang from the ceiling and silks, and pole dancing for fitness, stuff like that. It was a tremendous adventure. It was an incredibly beautiful experience, but I learned very quickly that I am not meant to be a business owner. Like, that is just, those are different skills. So my strengths were the creative side of it, right? It was, the shows that I wanted to do. And I loved working with kids and, but the business side of it, I wasn't cut out for that. I wasn't cut out for the stress of being in charge of something like that, quite honestly. And, I got to the point where I was recognizing that journey was negatively impacting my family too. It wasn't just me. Like, stress was building and I wasn't feeling happy and healthy, but that's a business that's open primarily evenings and weekends.
Oh, yes.
And I have a large family. And so, yeah, my youngest kids who loved that stuff too, they would live at the studio with me if they could. Like, that was really fun for them. But for the members of my family who weren't participating in those activities, I was losing touch, right? We didn't have all of those connectors that we needed. And so we had a family meeting and I said, you guys, I'm thinking about closing this studio down. And they were all in support of me just figuring out what path I needed to be on. And my son, Elias, he was 12 at the time, but he was like, Mom, if this is what you need to do, I think that you should do it. But I do want you to have more in your life than cooking and cleaning and taking care of us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Elias.
I know. I get teary just thinking about that kind of support from a 12-year-old boy, just like, having the awareness.
Right.
Yeah. So then, I found myself in an incredibly privileged position where, we had spent most of our marriage not relying on me for an income, right? Because I was a stay-at-home mom. Mm-hmm. So we made do without me bringing any money in. Mm-hmm. And moving forward, we agreed that maybe what I needed to do was follow my heart and not think about, what that would mean in terms of our financial life. And I recognize how incredibly privileged I am to be in that position. Because to be quite honest, being an artist is really challenging financially. It's not like, you want to be a nurse. And so then you go to school to be a nurse and then you get hired as a nurse and what you're going to make. And, it doesn't, the path doesn't follow that linearly, or that predictably. Right. And so, I recognize every day how many incredibly gifted and talented artists can't become that or can't nurture that because they don't have the means or the support, or they don't allow themselves the opportunity to give to something that has so much uncertainty. So I'm so grateful because I'm doing what I feel I'm truly called to do. I'm so incredibly inspired and I'm so deeply motivated, and I have tremendous support from my family to do it. So I have no complaints.
Which is wonderful. I mean, to have, again, Elias to say and understand that you needed more than just what he felt. This is what, stay-home moms are. You need way more than this. To recognize that, to have the supportive family, to be able to have a family meeting where they feel part of the decision, and support you in that sense is so important, because there's definitely some don't have that support, and for you to have that is so beautiful and wonderful to have.
And that was a lesson that I could give them, that that I couldn't have given in other ways that I'm grateful for. Like they saw me go out on a crazy limb, right? And try something that had a lot of risk and uncertainty, and was kind of outrageous for my town. I live in a very small town. And they saw it not work out. I won't use the term fail, but they saw it not be successful for me, and they saw me recover from that.
Yes.
Right. Yes. And I am so grateful that they got to be on that journey with me, to see me try, have it not work out, and still be okay.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and also for you for them, but for you also to recognize that this isn't working. It wasn't necessarily the business part, but it was the impact the business was having on your family, and recognizing that this isn't for me. This is not where I want to go. And sometimes people kind of stay with either a business or a job just because, but knowing, you know what, it's time to move, but there's that fear, or or judgment that, oh, it's a fail, or that you are like, oh no, I need to make this work. I have to make this work, when really and truly it's impacting family.
Right. And even like letting people down, right? Like that was a hard part of the decision, was that I knew I was letting other people who really appreciated that space that I had created, I was letting people down. And I think, I don't know if this is gendered or not, but I feel like it's a very like female response to like think about how everybody else feels and just like plow forward despite the cost to ourselves.
Yes,
sometimes.
Absolutely. When I went through burnout, after 20-year plus career, it was that guilt of leaving, the letting people down, like, and just letting it happen to it. I have to stay because I got all these people that depend on me. But meanwhile, I'm having heart issue, I'm having pains and chest, all these pains and things for burnout that, how long do you want to take to, I didn't want a heart attack. I wanted to be around for my family. So it was definitely making that hard decision and going, I need something different.